And welcome to the superfunawesomehappytime show. My name is Gabor.
Hey, welcome. I'm Alex.
And we have the mood!
Yay.
Again, part 2.
Yep.
Or part 2. Oui.
Hey, we did part 1 on the left-hand side. If you haven't seen that, go check that out.
And watch that here.
There's going to be more videos again on combination stuff, dip switches, and also other instruments as well as guitar.
Sure.
Hey, if you hit like and subscribe on the channel and on this video, that'd be much appreciated. Hit the notification bell, and it will notificate you.
Yes, you'll be notified.
Yeah, I promise.
English is good. Big thank you to Mr. Joel Corti and everyone at Chase Bliss as well for sending one of those out. Thank you so much. We love your work. Okay, so the mood. Quickly, again, collaboration between Chase Bliss and All Blood Noise Endeavors and Drolo Effects. Now, part 1 was the All Blood Noise Endeavors left side of the mood. Today we're doing the Drolo Effects right side of the mood. Because in my opinion, I think each side is worthy of being its own pedal. It's just having the two of them is just even more awesomer. Especially when they interact as well. They interact as well. But today we're just sort of focusing just on the right side. Drolo Effects, basically a company from Belgium. I first heard about them through Heinbach, the YouTube channel Heinbach. He does quirky electronica stuff, and he had, I think it's called the Time Stretch.
Okay. Possibly.
It was one of the Drolo Effects. Yeah. Sounded killer. And now we've got like a looper kind of thing here. So it's a granular looper
sample glitchy hold thing.
One of those.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure how to describe it, but it's basically you can do loops, but not in a traditional sense of loops. Basically, you have the 4 knobs to the right, so the 2 center knobs and the 2 knobs on the right control it, and this is the on-off switch. So it's really mainly only those 2 knobs. Those are global. This is the mix, so all the way counterclockwise. It's only a dry signal. All the way clockwise, it's only the wet signal. And this is the clock. Now, the clock is the more kind of difficult one to talk about. It's basically a sample rate knob to a certain degree. All the way clockwise, you've got the highest sample rate, so it's the highest quality of what you're playing. But you've got a super short loop. So if you actually look at the red light here, that's every time it flashes, that's a new loop.
Yeah.
So very, very short, yeah. And you can see the leg under, yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, you can see how.
But you have the highest quality loop. Now, as you turn this down, the sample quality reduces, but you've got a much longer loop. So if you look at it now, it takes quite a while until the light flashes again. So your loop gets longer, but your sample quality gets dropped.
Which is not a bad thing. It just gives it different tonal characteristics.
Exactly, to the point where you can bring it so low that there's even noise that comes in that has nothing to do with the loop. It's just noise. Because you reduce the sample rate to a point where it's just noisy.
Self-noise.
And then you've also got the switch in the middle, which we'll get to later. That's when you combine the two things. But basically, then you have a length and a modify knob. Now, the modify knob changes depending on what setting you're on, and the length is usually the length of the tape or the length of the granules that you... Or not the tape, the loop. The length of the loop or the length of the granules. And then you have this switch down the bottom here, which says... what does it say? It says env, tape, and stretch. So to the left, envelope, middle tape, and to the right, stretch. Which one do you want to start off with?
Envelope.
Envelope.
It's on the left.
Okay, so envelope... The idea with envelope is you record a loop. And again, it's not about being a pristine, super fantastic, ditto, TC ditto, looper, loop. It's more like a arty creative loop. Yeah. if you want to call that.
So like
soundscapes, samples and soundscapes.
Pads and things.
So let's put the sample rate somewhere in the middle, right? So this is how long your loop is. So it's not super long. It's more about finding things that sound interesting.
2 or 3 seconds.
Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah. You instruct me.
Just play a chord and kind of hold it.
Yep.
And then
I'll play
see how we go.
C-sharp minor. How about that?
Sure.
How about that?
So now the mix is the mix. I can turn the volume down so I can talk. Now basically what you can do with this, now this sets the length of the loop. By chopping it up into little granules.
Yep.
Now what this does is it's the sensitivity of the envelope. And what it does is, so now if you just set it to like a, whatever the loop, normal loop, and then you play, at the moment of when you play and the envelope opens, it freezes the loop in that spot and makes it kind of glitchy stutter. So the way I think of it, if you think of and the youngins won't know this, but if you think of a VCR,
yes,
okay, and you record something and you press pause, it never pauses perfectly. It kind of goes, and that's basically what it does. So it plays back your loop or the little soundscape, and then when you play it, it just it just plays that one thing. So if we do that,
I guess you call it, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
I guess you call it a stutter type.
A stutter glitch, yeah, whatever you want to call it. So you got to do it when there's. If you just do it in a part where there's sort of just soundscapey bit, if the first bit where there's the attack of the strum, if you do it there, you hear that. You hear that.
It really grabs it. Yeah.
It really grabs it. Anyway, so that's what envelope is, right? So you record a loop, however long or short you want it to be, and then you can kind of give it some stutter. So maybe let's actually try with that. Let's try. Let me try it.
Sure.
Something that has more like notes, more like an attacky sort of thing. So doing like a. Oh, hang on, I've got to turn that up. So doing like a. I don't know. So it takes what you play, and at the moment you hit the strings, it stops it and kind of freezes it and makes it kind of go funny, right?
Yeah, it's more evident with like an arpeggio or something.
Yeah, not so much.
More information.
Not just The more information you have, the more you hear, because you hear, especially if you have something with attack, like you have you hear the pick attack, and then that makes it sort of stutter.
Let's try it with like a funky kind of thing.
That's right. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at.
I should take some practice to get it.
Yeah, and then the other thing, so if you play again anything, like something. Now, what we can do with the clock is we can change the pitch of it because it changes the sample rate. Now, what they did was something very clever. Instead of it being a gradual change in sample rate, it's actually notched. Not notched in the sense of the knob, you can feel notches, but it's actually notched to where it goes. And it's notched in a way that it goes from whatever you were playing, next thing is a fifth up, next thing is an octave up, then a fifth up again, octave up, and all down as well. So if I just now... So all I'm getting at is you can change a pitch, going up a fifth, up an octave, or down a fifth, down an octave, and so on and so on and so on, right? So it's quite a musical way of doing things. So I think it's quite well done the way they did that. So that's the envelope, roughly, right? Mm-hmm. Next one. Let's just go. Next one. Tape. Now tape is kind of like a tape thing, and you can actually with the modifier you can fast forward, normal speed. You can kind of stop it and go reverse as well.
Ah, cool.
So if we now again set it to sort of something here, so we have a rough kind of loop. Okay, so just again play something. So this is when it goes backwards, yeah? So now we're going from up an octave, same pitch, down an octave backwards, same pitch backwards. Now what length does, it kind of again, it kind of chops it up into granular bits. And then you kind of almost individually work on the granular things. So again, if you play them, does anything again? Let's go somewhere there. So it chops your loop up into smaller parts and then makes each part longer and shorter, I think. That's to me what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So that's basically tape, right?
Cool.
Now stretch is probably my favorite out of those.
Yeah, sure.
So what you do with stretch, again, you record a loop and then you can actually stretch the loop. And we did that in the last video. I don't know if you've seen it, but I was doing this and it's almost like an accident. And it basically breaks that down into little bits again and makes it longer. So what you're actually hearing is just one note pretty much. Because then after a while it goes to the next note. It's really quite trippy. It's a really cool... So I don't know. Again, play something and we'll just muck around with it. Oh, hang on. So it was on. Do it again now. My bad. But I mean, that's instant sort of ambient pads, you know. And then, I mean, you can... You can then run that into the reverb on the other side or the delay on the other side or whatever you want to run it into. You don't have to though, but we'll get into that in another video where we combine the two things.
Yeah.
Okay, then the other thing you can do with it is, again, use the clock to change your pitch. So you can down pitch it, up pitch it. So that's down a fifth. Octave. I think that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Well, you can go up as well. So, and again, because the way the clock thing is set up, it goes up or down in intervals that work.
Yeah.
So it's actually musical. So it goes up a fifth, up an octave. I mean, you don't necessarily, even when you're playing, it kind of all works.
Yeah.
In the same key almost, even though you're going up a fifth and stuff, but it still kind of works.
There's no in between semitones.
There's no in between semitones and stuff. It's really cool.
Very fun.
I mean, that's basically in a nutshell. That's and I know there is probably way more that you can do, and especially once you start combining the two. But that's the Drolo side. That's the kind of sampler, looper, glitch kind of granular thing. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. What did I actually call it? What does it say what it actually is? Hang on. Mood is a 2-channel granular micro looper delay. Sure.
There you go.
That's what it is.
Now you know.
Now you know. And then, I mean, the real magic then happens when you start combining the two.
Yeah.
And I believe in the intro we had some Dark World as well,
Popping up there.
which we actually have in front of the mood. So once we run a loop, you can then play it and it won't affect the loop.
Yep.
But yeah, you can then combine it, and this is sort of when that switch in the middle comes into play. But we'll get into that in a separate video where we talk about combining the two and the dip switches.
Part 3.
Part 3. Stay tuned for that. So I think that's about it.
Yeah. Brief overview of the Drolo side.
The Drolo side, the right-hand side of the mood. So if you like that, why not watch the first video? Why not watch the third video? There may be some more videos coming up. Why not even... Heck, subscribe to the channel.
That would be very, very much appreciated. Hey, there's links below to Instagram, Facebook accounts, and our podcast. Check those out below. And
Make sure to hit the thumbs up as well if you like what we did. If you don't have to hit the thumbs down.
just do it anyway.
Just do it anyway. Hit the notification bell so when a next mood video comes out, you'll get a little ding dong. Mood.
Mood man.
Mood man. So big thank you once again to Joel at Chase Bliss and everyone at Chase Bliss and all the guys, Brady and all the guys at All Blood Noise and Mr. Drolo. I don't know his name, but Mr. Drolo at Drolo Effects in Belgium. I think it's just the one guy who does it.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So awesome pedal, absolutely awesome kind of pedal. So if you want hours of fun of not completely losing track of the world around you and your wife and kids and they don't care at all, you just want to sit there and make glitchy cool sounds, this thing is insane. So
This is the one for you.
on that note, bye.
Catch ya.